jerk the way I'm supposed to be, so that people don't later on tell me, well, you didn't say to me it was so hard. Okay, well, it is. First of all, you need to ground yourself and learn the technique. Take the classes, take the workshops. Improv, incredibly important. But any chance you have to get on stage and perform, do it. There is no replacement for that. Having a theater background is essential. Now, I do know actors who have never been on a stage before and, quote unquote, grew up as film and TV actors. Two of us, two of us, two of us, two of us, two of us. So the important thing there is that you create that grounding. You have the craft within you. Someone comes to me and they have a role, I need to step into there, and I need to bring the human being. I need to bring the emotion. I need to be able to do what the character is going to do on stage. It's probably about 3 years, I think a little before the pandemic, where I was playing a character in a Netflix series who was a master mathematician. The kind of brilliant guy that actually created a new digit for arithmetic. And over the course of the story, he is slowly losing his faculties. He's becoming demented. And at one point starts to cry. And you start to see this brilliant man slowly fall apart over the story. Now, you don't just step in front of a microphone and say, I can do this. No, you need to bring the guts, you need to bring the heart, you need to bring the soul. And you aren't going to be able to utilize the things that I just listed for you unless you have the craft for it. So if you have the speech technique and all that. Now, having said that, if you need to act, you will. It is a need. If you just want to, like if people say, hey, voiceover sounds like fun, why don't I try it, 96% of people that set out give up, and for good reason. It's one of the most difficult styles of acting that you can possibly imagine. You have to do so much, and you're alone in a room with a microphone in front of you. And somebody says, all right, your character has not seen his brother for 25 years because of a family argument. This is the first time you're together, and you're both going to cry your eyes out. Guess who has to cry his eyes out in the booth by himself in front of a microphone? You don't just do that by saying, okay, I'll just be emotional suddenly. You have to be able to be in touch with that. A certain number of years helps also. Given my time on this earth and the things I've gone through, I have a lot to draw upon, all right? So I can bring that too. That doesn't mean somebody young can't do this sort of thing, but having that life experience, having the mileage, let's say, on you helps a lot. If that is your goal, if you really do want to break in and be the voice actor, be the actor first. Then the bad news is you probably can't do voiceover acting. I'm not talking about how special and amazing I am. No, the trouble is, to be a voice actor, you have to have a very peculiar, very strange, almost bizarre combination of skills and be able to use them effectively while acting, while bringing a character to life. I was mentioning to somebody earlier, I will go into a session and sometimes I have to speak a different language. I'm still bringing in the human being, okay? The human being who in this case speaks French or Zulu, which is a language I've used. These are all things you need to bring as a crafted actor, and then you put those on top of them. But again, if you need to do it, you will. I can't not do it. It would break my heart if I just stopped. So as rough as things have been over my life and my career, I've always hung on to the need to do that. And the important thing to find out with anything you do in your life, if it feeds your heart and feeds your spirit and feeds feeds your soul, then it's good for you. If it doesn't do those things, that's where you burn out. But yeah, I can't stop. One of my friends, my Shakespearean friends, said it beautifully. It's a sickness.
And you're down with it. And you're down. We got another question from the audience? Was it who's been your favorite other voice actor to work with besides yourself? With Thomas Zurich? To argue with, Art Driver.
My favorite voice actor to argue with?
No, Zetsu always argues. The white and black Zetsu. They just have a rivalry. They're constantly bickering.
Was it so in the sense were you taking care of White Zetsu and Black Zetsu? Were you doing voices for White Zetsu and Black Zetsu? Because they both speak in the series. They both talk. White Zetsu at one point talks towards the Great Ninja War. Black Zetsu always talks.
Okay, so the question is, have I done more than Zemnis?
No, who's been your other, who do you think is your other voice actor that you always paired up with and you guys just constantly randomly end up together?
So I'm guessing in the sense who you worked with, that you do a scene together. And how is the activity in the room if you're together or are you doing it separate?
We never work together. There's not a voice actor that I get to stand across or sit across from and work together in a session.
So with Zetsu, you're just arguing with yourself?
We're always alone. Remember what I said, it's you and a microphone. So I don't get to, for instance, people ask me with Cowboy Bebop, what was it like working with Steve Bloom? Well, I wouldn't work with Steve Bloom anyway, because my character was on the TV and they were watching me, so I didn't have any scenes with him. But we walk in alone and we work that. Sometimes you are the first one to record, so you are acting with silence. You're speaking your lines as though you're holding a dialogue with someone. But you are acting by yourself as though you're talking to someone else. Leaving us, leaving us, leaving us. I like the back of the doors.
Well, and then that goes to show how intense it is to be a voice actor. And reason why actor is on there, because you have to get, I'm sure, the physical ability to bust out a cry, to bust out a belch, a scream, if you're full of anger, if you really are hating somebody.
Yeah, they have to believe it. We have to do it in such a way that they believe it, even though there's nobody standing there. Now, there are rare exceptions. When I did an expansion of Medal of Honor, which was called Spearhead. This was so weird. We got to have 5 other actors in the room with me, and we were saying these lines. And there's another one I did where I played. I think the character was Dr. Reichwein, and the game. Oh, the name escapes me because I played 2 German doctors in 2 different things, so it runs across. But it was a video game. In this particular,
Wolfenstein.